Hey everyone, welcome back to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. I'm Elisa.
I'm Jamie.
And I'm Josh.
And today we are actually going to talk about our year-end review. So we're going to talk about all of the exciting things we did last year in 22 and our favorite places and all that fun stuff.
And if you haven't noticed, Elisa's finally back with us.
Woohoo!
It's about time.
No kidding. My brother was like, you only were on like 6 of them. I know. Shut up.
I'm trying.
Can we even call you a host at that point in time?
You know what? Just shush. Okay. I'm a member.
Where did we go last year?
Well, where did we go?
Way to throw that one back at me.
Okay, so in February, went to the Anson Call House,
We did.
which I think all of us were super excited about.
Yes.
We've been wanting to get into that place, and it's not a super well-known place. Like a lot of investigators do know about it, but really haven't investigated there. So I feel
It's
like
a little more challenging to get into.
It's not as busy as other places that we go to.
No.
So this was our first time all of us had been there, and it very much was what we were looking for, even before we started to investigate. So you guys got there before it even started to just go check it out.
Oh, yeah. We went in November the previous year to go check it out.
Yeah. Just we were offered like a tour and kind of scope it out ahead of time.
Yeah, and then I got there a little bit later, and when you guys were there, you guys had cool experiences happening while you're just checking it out during the day.
Yeah, we weren't even investigating. So
No.
No. There was bricks that were moving in the basement.
what sounded like bricks.
Yeah, what sounded like brick on brick moving.
See it,
No.
but it did. It sounded like bricks were moving in the burnt out part, which you're not even
Yeah.
allowed in.
Yeah. And then when I got there, we went upstairs and Jamie was talking with one of the people that was giving the tours, one of the girls. And Josh and I were in one of the other rooms,
Mhm.
but you could directly see Jamie just right through the hall.
Oh yeah.
You could see you. And while we're walking out there, we heard this board just go or like drag across that bedroom that you guys were standing in front of.
Yeah, that was the nursery.
Yeah.
In fact, and
Yeah.
there's not much in that nursery to
There's
begin
a
with.
bed, a rocking horse, and a dresser, like a little nightstand.
Yeah, there's not much there, but when the gal, her back was to the room, she was like in the frame of the door.
Yeah.
And I was kind of in front of her and she was talking to me. We were talking back and forth. And yeah, it sounded like someone just took like a huge board and just like slid it clear across that entire room.
And that room wasn't small. Like it was a fairly larger
Yeah.
room. It wasn't like a tiny little room. It was fairly big.
Yeah, and it sounded like it was with force.
Yeah. It sounded like a big log,
Yep.
like a 2x4 or something.
Huge.
That's
yeah.
what I was
and-
expecting to see was a 2x4 on
Yeah,
the ground
me
somewhere
too.
in that room.
Well,
Nothing.
and the gal in the doorway, it scared her. She jumped forward.
so high. I swear she could have just leapt into your arms.
She almost did. It startled her, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
but as her body cleared that doorway, I saw something move across that floor. Now, when we went in there and looked, because Josh and
Mhm.
Elisa heard it too, it was
Yeah.
that loud.
Yeah.
It was very distinct. We went in there and we looked around. There was nothing out of place.
No, there wasn't.
There was nothing. So
There's
it's
nothing
like,
that slid, or even
Nothing.
if it did slide, it wouldn't have made that same sound.
no,
No, there wasn't anything wood in there that would have moved.
no.
So what was it is a very good question.
Oh no,
don't
it was
know.
pretty cool though.
But it was just that was a really fun investigation.
Yeah. That was neat
Yeah.
in itself. The only issue with the place, and it's not even with the house itself, right? It was just cold that night.
Oh, it was so cold.
It was. I mean, we had one of those tent thingies. What are they called?
It's like a gazebo.
Like a fabric gazebo. So we had that set up with a little table in there, and we had,
We had a couple little
food
heaters
and a couple little heaters and some chairs.
which was nice. But
yeah.
then Jamie got sick.
Well, I got a horrific headache though. It was like a
Yeah.
migraine, which made me feel physically ill.
Yeah.
So I
was a bummer.
spent most of the night in
And-
there
Yep.
But you still had your
Unfortunately.
own paranormal experience in the tent.
at the end of the night.
Which was so cool. So
Yeah.
inside and outside.
Yeah. It's like they were curious about what this thing was out there. And it's almost like a couple of the spirits came out there to kind of check it out. We heard a woman.
Yeah. Talking like around the tent.
Mm-hmm.
And because the there was only one window on the tent, and it was kind of facing the entranceway into the property.
The driveway, yeah.
So we couldn't see who or what was talking, but I went out there a couple different times to see if there's anybody outside.
Well, he walked the
walking around.
property.
Well, and he warned us that there might be kids that wander in,
Yeah.
because it's an abandoned house pretty much. So,
and it's fenced in, but it doesn't mean they can't hop the fences and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But he went around the whole perimeter of the property around the fences,
Mhm.
and there was like no noise, no nothing after that. And then I got like hit or touched on my backside. I
Yeah.
was standing up in front of the heater, and something got me right on my right side, lower back. Yeah,
yeah, that was just a really fun place.
yeah.
And then in March, on March 26th, we went to Camp Floyd.
We did.
Which was the first time we'd ever, this last year was a bunch of firsts for us, really, in a lot of things, right? So this was the first time we ever been or got to investigate Camp Floyd. And let's face it, there's not much left of Camp Floyd.
Yeah.
There's not, but I mean, and this was, we did this with Broken Wings Paranormal.
We did.
With their group, which was fun.
It was a lot of fun. We didn't have a ton of stuff in the schoolhouse or in the Stagecoach Inn, but what we did get was probably the funniest Estes method so far to date that happened in the museum.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was all Jamie.
It was all Jamie.
I had so much fun with that, and I wanted to keep going, but it seems like whatever ornery spirit was there kind of gave up.
So if you ever hear us talking about go eat an apple, this is where it stems from.
It is. This is where we first heard it.
Yeah.
And we have heard it multiple times since then.
We have.
From multiple different avenues. Like we have heard it in a spirit box. We've heard it
Mhm.
through doing the Estes method. We've heard it through the portholes that we do.
The
Mhm.
portals, yeah.
Portholios.
Portholios.
So yeah, we've heard it in a few different ones. So I don't know if it's something that one of our spirits that hang out with us just wants to chime in every once in a while and bring that up. I don't know, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, we've heard it. Yeah, we've heard it at multiple locations, and
So it was given to us in like a mean way. It was like, go eat an apple. Like, shove it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
yeah,
So yeah, so we've heard it a few times, so it's been fun.
always gives us a good laugh.
But in the schoolhouse, we actually did get quite a few stuff. It was so quiet, but we
Mhm.
actually heard like marching outside.
Yep.
We heard kids. I ended up going in the hall because I heard stuff in the hall, like I was going to say footprints.
Footprints. I heard
footprints.
Footfalls.
No. Footsteps. I heard footsteps out there in that little entryway. So we did and we got that EVP where it was like a man speaking to a kid or like,
Oh, that's right. Right when we got in there, like when we first started.
yeah, like you need to go, like get out, like you need to go to
Yeah.
somebody. Like it was a conversation between two people. And I can't even remember the EVP right now as I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it was kind of like, who's that? Run.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
Go,
get out.
run or something.
Yeah, I think it was
Or like a name and then run.
Yeah.
Anyway.
it was definitely neat.
Yeah, that was a good EVP, and I can't believe that I can't even think about it.
Yeah, and that was the first time we got to investigate Camp Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we went over to Benson Grist Mill in April, the 22nd of April.
Mhm.
And that's when we had some of our friends and family come and join us for a Fence of family night,
Mm-hmm.
which Jamie and I didn't investigate that night.
No, I mean, we've done Benson enough to where it's like you're not going to investigate every time you go there.
Right.
Especially for like events and stuff typically, but
I've probably been there over 10 times at least.
yeah.
At least.
But we did investigate the next night.
Yes, we did.
Yes, and that was just our small group of 5.
5,
Mm-hmm. There were 5 of us.
Mm-hmm.
which is the first time I think any of us got a chance to investigate the mill by itself,
Yeah.
by ourselves.
Which
Yeah.
was really cool. Like anytime, like most of the time that I've gone, I've had to lead a group or do something like that.
Yeah.
So to actually be in such a small group and it just be us and we go, that was like almost a totally different experience.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And Jamie and I went into the Pearson cabin.
Yeah.
And there's this table in there. We're just sitting around the table and you hear and could feel knocks
underneath
the table. And we're like, is that you? Did you do that? And it's like, if you did that, do it again. And you just knock right under the table.
Yeah. And we wobbled the table to see if it was like level. It's completely level. It's a heavy table.
It's sturdy. It doesn't
It's
move.
sturdy.
So cool.
And all of our hands were above the table. And you
Yeah.
can
You
see
see
it
on the camera.
You can see it on camera. Our hands were above table.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how awesome to get knocks
Yeah.
Mhm.
that you can't disprove.
Yeah.
And it's on camera where everybody who's in there is on frame.
That's pretty cool.
Well, and I got the feeling it was like a kid
Yeah, we
under
did.
the table.
which kids do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
They go under the table.
I think we ended up getting some sort of confirmation that it was a little boy. I thought.
Yeah, Stacy and I went back in there with
Mhm.
dowsing rods, and we got confirmation that there was a little boy in there. But we also got confirmation that there were 9 spirits in the cabin. They said there were 9 in the cabin.
Crowded.
Yeah, I should say.
It's not a very big cabin.
No.
No, it's pretty small.
But the funniest thing that happened on that one was I took Stacy into, I think what everyone kind of refers to as the Grumpy Lady cabin.
That's the one right next to the barn.
It's one right next to the barn. And there's a female spirit in there who people have gone in there trying to talk to her before. And like, she doesn't like to talk into anybody. She's kind of grumpy.
Mm-hmm.
And so Stacy and I go in there and she is just talking up a storm on dowsing rods. And it's like, do you like one of us? Yeah. Do you like Stacy? Yep. Do you like it because he's kind of grumpy? Yes.
Like one of my own.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my people right there.
My grumpy people.
That's right.
So it was neat in that avenue.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. That was neat to be in there. And we still didn't even cover.
Oh, I know.
All
It's
of it.
so big.
Yeah. There's quite a few buildings and stuff there. So
So where do we go to next?
So we went to the Cedar Fort Cemetery on May 13th.
yeah, and that was just kind of a little.
Let's go to some cemeteries around us before we record.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was very casual, and we noticed that like there was overgrown, and we had talked about going and pulling weeds around the headstones and things like that because it was really tiny.
Yeah.
It's
Not a
really
big area.
small.
Yeah. But what was really cool there was a booklet of people and their names and a little bit there. It seems like there was like their stories
A little bit.
a little bit. But anyway, it was cool to see what was there. It was just so tiny.
Yeah.
I mean, what, like 10 feet by.
Well, technically the road split it in half.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was
That's true.
probably 30 by 40. So, I mean, as far as cemeteries are concerned,
That's so tiny.
that's tiny. And the fact that they believe there's like 20 some people buried in there.
Oh wow.
They're stacked on top of each other. I'm just
Pretty
kidding.
Never know.
No,
Yeah.
you don't. And it's a challenging too, right? Cedar Fort is a pioneer city for the state of Utah. And so it's hard to say how many people and where exactly were they buried because it's, you're talking 1800s,
hmm
1820, I can't remember when the pioneers came over to the state.
I should know this, but I don't.
Way to be.
Dates are not good for me.
You grew up here.
Shush. So, okay, in, let's see, July, I have to count. July 30th, we went to Wyoming prison.
The Wyoming Frontier Prison.
Yep.
That was a neat place.
That was a great weekend.
That was just, the whole weekend, just even the road trip.
Everything was just so fun.
It was just fun.
Yeah.
Well, all of it.
I think the girl, 'cause when you go there, you get a tour,
Yes.
and she did such a good job.
She
was
did a great
so
job.
informative.
Yeah.
Told us all the cool stories, and she was like, she didn't pause. I mean, the whole time she was chatting
Yeah.
about all the things that were going on there, all the things that had happened, all these cool stories, and it'd be one thing for the next. So there was no silence, just sitting there and kind of feeling like you're wasting your time. Like
Yeah.
it was only supposed to be an hour, but it went over an hour, and we were like, but we want to know more.
Exactly.
Like, she did so good.
She did. And
Yeah.
she was like, we have to cut it off.
Yeah.
Well, it was the last tour of the day.
Yeah. And I'm sure she was tired anyway.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. She's ready to go home.
But that's where we met the gals from 50 States of Madness.
Yep.
We did. And that ended up turning out really cool.
It so did. It was really fun. So we did the tour with them. And I mean, we really hadn't talked or anything before that. And then afterwards, we started talking to each other and we're like, hey, they should join us on this investigation tonight. That would be super fun. And
Yeah.
they were like, are you kidding? Yes, let's do it. So they joined us, and it turned out to be a blast. They
We
were
had a lot of
so
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
It
They were
was
so fun.
it was a great investigation. It kind of started out a little slow,
It was slow in the beginning until we got to like the death house.
and that's when
Yeah.
Elisa got, I don't know, throat punched.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a hand. When you open up your hand and you have that space between your thumb and your first finger,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like somebody just took that to my throat.
Just jabbed her with it.
And I was already like getting over a cough. So it just made it way worse.
Oh yeah. I mean, her eyes were watering. Her face was red.
Yeah.
We
and
were
I was
outside of the gas chamber.
yeah.
We were
Yep.
in the capital punishment section. So they
Yeah.
have the
Mhm.
gallows in the
Yep.
in the gas chamber.
Mhm.
We were sitting in front of the gas chamber,
Yeah.
just sitting against the wall.
Yep.
And
Just
it
out of
was
the blue.
like right to your throat.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like hard, right?
Oh, it doesn't have to be though.
But it was just at the perfect spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just went on a cough attack after that
Yeah.
because it was like, I don't know, I just couldn't catch my breath. It seemed like, one, because it just startles you,
Mhm.
but two, because I was getting over a cough anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that was not helpful,
No.
especially when you're trying to record. That's not helpful.
Well, and we did the Estes method over there as well.
Yep.
And there was a mean spirit, but we got a lot. It sounded like spirits talking to each other.
And didn't we get that Spanish speaking?
We did.
That
was-
stuttered.
Yes.
Yes. And when we were doing the Estes method, and that was the last thing we did at the end of the investigation in that one room. That was the room where they got hung.
That was the
right?
gallows.
That was the
That was
gallows.
the gallows.
I was sitting right on top of the gallows.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were. And she says he sounds Spanish.
He had
Uh,
the accent.
He has a stutter, so he couldn't get out his name. So then
Mhm.
I was like, just take a deep breath, I said. And then, focus and tell us your name. And he did.
Yeah.
He got his name out.
It was just crazy because I had never heard a stutter in doing the Estes method or in a
Mhm.
spirit box session or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
because what you're listening to is, radio stations going by really fast.
Yeah.
And so you don't think of a stutter or how that comes through, but it does. It was weird. It was cool because I'd never experienced it before. I'm like, this is the
Yeah.
oddest thing.
I think the craziest thing about that though is when he first came through, he's like, "Where am I? What am I doing here?"
Yeah, it was like
he was
had just-
confused.
it was honestly, this is what it felt like. Because the things he was saying, it was like he had just died and he woke up in this place. He didn't know where he was
Yeah.
and was like, what just happened? And where am I? Like he was in this comatose state and just woke up or something.
Yeah.
And then we had to tell him, okay, do you see a light? Like go to the light.
Right.
Like we were encouraging him to move on because he was
Yes.
confused.
He
like,
was.
But he didn't. Like we had a serious conversation with him. And remember, the one guy called him dumb.
Called him an idiot.
Or called him an idiot. Yeah, called him an idiot.
Which is one of the terms they used back in those days for somebody who spoke with a stutter.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, all of it was pretty like valid for the place that we were in.
Yeah.
Mhm, absolutely. Well, and he did say during the Estes method, I just woke up.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
He
had forgotten
did
about
say
that.
Yeah.
Which it's something we never really think about, right? We just think about you die, your soul leaves your body, and now you're a ghost if you don't cross over, right? We didn't. There's a concept called soul sleep.
I have not heard of this.
So it's where you die and you don't go anywhere. Your soul is essentially in a state of sleep.
Kind of like a holding pattern.
Yeah, kind of like a holding pattern.
Yeah.
Now it's used to discuss in Christianity. It's used to discuss the time before the rapture and Armageddon. That's what they consider it. Some people consider it that way. But in this case, I mean, what if it's partially true? What if some people just kind of sleep for a while and then at one point in time you awaken and you're not dead anymore? I mean, you're dead, but you're conscious.
Well, maybe it's one of those things where, I mean, there's so much that we don't know, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It could be different for everybody,
Yeah, I don't.
depending on the situation, the scenario,
Well,
whatever.
And I was watching, not to get too off track, but I was watching a show about people who have their near-death experiences.
Mhm.
And this one lady, she got into a car accident with her friend, her best friend, and they both died. And they were in this cave. Like, And
I watched that one.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they're in this cave, and she knew one of them was going to have to go back, and she knew it was her, and her
Mhm.
friend got to continue on. But each one that I have watched or listened to or read about, they're all different.
Yeah.
Each
That's why-
one of them is very different.
Yeah.
There are a lot of similarities, like a light and
Sure.
family members, and somebody to greet them and help them along their way, a guide of some sort.
Right.
Like there are a lot of similarities, and that peaceful feeling, so many colors they've never seen before. And what I also find interesting is none of them are worrying about what's going on with their
No.
body.
Mm.
None of them.
Nope.
They're all like, I want to stay. Can I stay?
Because it's
Do
so
I-
wonderful.
Do I have to go?
It's
I don't
it's
want to go
beyond-
back. Do I got to?
Yeah, they describe it beyond anything you could imagine.
And then it's a painful return.
Yes.
It's a very painful to return to your body. Painful
Yes.
experience. But anyways, not to get too far off topic. But so
But it brings you into that. So, I mean, maybe it is a situation. Maybe the person, maybe they died, in Florida or New Mexico or Mexico.
You never know.
And it's like, and you get to wake up in Wyoming in a prison.
That would be frightening. And you have these
Yeah.
other spirits that are talking smack to you, basically. And I really actually felt bad for this spirit. I left there feeling bad for him. Like, how scary would that be? He was really confused. So we also went to, the night before, we went to this huge cemetery.
The city cemetery.
Oh my gosh.
And we had a great time there, too.
That
was so much fun.
good. And it's those impromptu sessions that we had where we were just there. We're like, hey, let's go over there. Let's do an EVP session, and let's
Yeah.
just sit down and hang out and see what we find.
Yeah.
And we had such a good conversation with this dude.
We did. And that was right before we left. Because I remember in the beginning, I asked Josh, did you bring the digital recorder? And he's like, yeah. And I go, do you have it on you? He's like, no. He's like, I can go get it. And I'm like, yes, go get it.
And it was so worth it.
It was worth it.
It was so worth it.
It was, yeah.
So we're sitting around, to kind of give you an image, we were sitting around this group of headstones that were inside of, like, they were kind of like not blocked off, but surrounded by this 3 or 4 inch
Concrete.
high concrete wall.
Probably a foot.
Was it a foot?
It was about a foot because you could sit. Well, maybe it was only 3 or 4 inches on the outside, but
I'm
it
sure
was
much-
dropped in
Yes.
because we sat on it quite
Yes.
comfortably.
It's kind
Yeah.
of like boxed in.
Yeah.
It's a family grave site.
Yeah. So it's separated, to keep it separated from everybody else. And we're just sitting on the wall facing inside and asking questions. And
Yep.
Jamie was like feeling a tap on her shoulder or something. Or what was that?
Oh, my shoulder got really cold.
That's what it was.
Because remember, I was filming on my phone.
Yeah.
And this particular spirit was a male. And as we were sitting there, Lisa said, there's somebody over there off to my right that's approaching.
Yes.
And he came over, and I was filming on my phone, and she kind of introduced all of us.
Mhm.
Elisa did. Told him what I was doing and what our phones are, because I don't think he was around.
He seemed very intrigued.
Yes. Very interested.
Yeah.
And so I had said, if you want to go behind me and look over my shoulder, you can see on the screen exactly what I'm pointing my camera at and filming. And yeah, I ended up, the back of my right shoulder ended up getting very cold.
Yeah.
And that's when we got an EVP.
It says, and it was like right now.
Well, it says behind you
Behind you.
and then right now.
Yeah. And then as soon as
But we didn't hear that.
Not in the
Right.
moment, no.
But Jamie had just said that her shoulder was cold.
and immediately after that,
Yeah.
It was
you
no-
get this response.
Or was
no, it was the other way around. He said it first, and then right after
Oh.
he finishes, now your shoulder's cold, and so it's like he's like, yeah, right now, and reaches out and touches her,
Yeah.
and then she's cold.
God, it was such a cool experience. And then
It was just so fun.
then when we were leaving, it sounded like a little boy going like
A little kid.
a little kid saying like "see ya" or
yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was so cute. I'm like, okay, we need to go back. We
Yeah.
need to go back. Like for all of you people who think that ghost hunting is super scary and you could never do it, let me tell you, it is not like it is in the movies. Not everything you see is scary. Not everything you encounter is terrible. I would say for the most part, it's pretty benign.
It is.
It's like 95% benign and then
Mhm.
maybe 5%
Yeah.
not.
Right. And
Yeah.
so when we were there, it felt good. It felt, like,
Mhm.
I mean, it is hollow ground and it felt very comfortable. Like I literally could have been there all night long.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were getting eaten alive by mosquitoes.
I
I think that
know.
is the only reason we actually opted out to leave.
Yeah.
Well,
And you could hear him go by the
Oh, yeah. You
the
hear them on the
recorder.
thing.
Go,
And the deer.
that was so incredible.
I
They
love
just
that
like walk up
town.
to you in the dark.
Yeah.
Now it's a little intimidating because deer will attack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They will.
And so like you can barely see it. You kind of know where it's generally at because you can make out a shadow inside of the
Or
darkness.
hear them chewing.
Yeah, or hear
Yeah.
them chewing. But like if it wanted to charge you, there's nothing we could have done to stop
No.
it.
You just start running and hope you don't run into a grave or a headstone.
Trip
Like,
over it.
trip over it.
Oh, you would. I would.
Or run into another deer.
I just have
Right?
to run faster than the both of you.
You could probably do it.
I don't know.
We will find out one day.
But they were everywhere.
Yeah, they were. It was just neat. They wandered through the town.
Oh, yeah. Like it
they
was
were
no
just
big
neat.
deal.
Through
Yeah.
the gravestones. They're just in between them, all over.
Oh, it was so cool.
It was neat.
Okay, so then in August 13th, we went to Fear Factory.
We did. And that was another collab with
Broken Wings.
Broken
Wings.
Wings.
Yeah. And that was a fun one.
It was. So they've made some changes from the last time that Josh and I were there, because they used to have like this vampire room that was actually my favorite room.
Yeah, we got this crazy weird light anomaly in that room.
Yeah.
I'll
It changed
I'll have to
shapes.
post it sometime.
Yeah. And anyways, but they changed all that and kind of made it more or less like the rest of it, which is just this windy
I'll
maze.
have to say, I didn't enjoy it so much because of how much they changed it. It
Yes.
was so closed off, and it just felt like they were trying to make it into a maze, and I didn't super enjoy that. Like,
yeah, I didn't like it either.
it wasn't the same.
But the tunnels,
The catacombs.
the catacombs was by far the funnest place to investigate there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And we did pick up on some stuff there. There felt like there was a woman there at the top of the stairs, and we were kind of down below on the bottom few steps.
Yeah.
And I felt like she was just kind of keeping her distance. She was very timid.
Well, that was like the only place we really got anything.
Anything.
And
Yeah.
so it was like we started there and we ended there
We did.
because it felt like if we're going to get anything, this is where we need to be.
Well, and it was by far the quietest area.
oh, yeah, because you have the traffic, the
Yeah.
freeway.
You have the
that's
freeway
there.
right there, and trains,
Yep,
the tracks.
Trains
Yeah.
are kind of cool though.
it is cool.
They are, but when you're trying to investigate from a standpoint of trying to get EVPs and stuff, and you
Yeah,
got
it's near
all that, no,
impossible.
it's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I was on the second to the bottom step,
yeah, you were.
and I stood up to move, and I felt underneath me something hit the bottom
Mhm.
super hard. You heard it. I mean, everybody heard it. It was
It's loud.
It was
Yeah.
very
Well,
loud.
and
It's
I was
metal.
I was like 2 steps above you, 2 or 3 steps above you, and I felt it as well as her.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was
And
crazy.
At first, I thought it was Elisa, like, because accidentally hitting it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But she's like, "Did you guys do that?" And I'm like, "No, I thought it was you." And she's like, "No, that was not me."
No, like I literally did not move my feet. I
Mhm.
just went from a sitting position to a standing position.
Yeah,
And I mean, it could have been where maybe it bent from the pressure from me standing up, but it never did that before. I don't
Yeah.
know how many times I've been on it and I've not ever had that happen. And
Yeah.
I tried to redo it and I didn't do it. So I don't know, but I felt like something hit the bottom of my feet
Yes.
is what it felt like.
Yeah.
yes,
Like a fist or like a hammer or something
it was hard.
hit the bottom of my feet. So that was cool. And then we felt something eerie coming down the steps.
Yeah,
and-
like the woman who was really timid
Mhm.
and kind of at the top of the stairs, like all of a sudden it went from feeling that, and I just got like goosebumps from head to toe.
Yeah.
And I asked Elisa, I was like, "What is coming down these stairs?"
And I was feeling it the same time you were feeling it.
Yeah. And I'm like, it does not feel nice.
Mm-mm. It wasn't. And it was
creepy.
it was slowly creeping down the stairs. It
Mhm.
didn't just suddenly rush up on us or
No,
anything. It was
it was
just like
slow.
every couple minutes I'm going to sneak a little bit closer
Yep.
and a little bit closer and a little bit closer, and then it's like, okay, this is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe you won't notice me if I just creep.
Oh,
on.
there's no way you weren't going to notice
No, I
that.
know. And it felt pretty large. Like the feeling was pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, I just remember it feeling creepy. I just remember it changed from this timid female to something not great.
Well, it felt like the female left
I think
And
she did leave.
and something else came in its place.
It's like, surprise.
It's like she knew it was coming, so she's like, I'm out.
Yep. And I don't miss those dreadlocks. I don't.
Oh, yeah, hanging down in the swamp tunnel. Yeah.
Right?
Although we did get a cool EVP down there.
We did.
Yes.
So there's like, I think it was what it was. We heard something that sounded like it was coming from down the tunnel.
Yeah.
And so I called down the tunnel to
Is there
see
anybody down there?
if there's anybody down there. Because, it wasn't, like I said, it was another collab with Broken Wings. And so we didn't know where they were. They could have been coming down the tunnel because they didn't know where we were.
Yeah.
And we always just want to make sure that the sounds that we hear are either from a person or not from a person.
Right.
And I called down there, and then you get this, who are those? Who are these mother effers?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, my goodness.
Male.
Male.
Yeah.
And it's clear.
Yeah.
And it was around this same time that negative entity
Came down, yeah.
came down the stairs.
Yeah.
So we weren't sure if it was calling it out to us or if it was calling out to whatever was on those stairs.
Yeah, it's hard to
Right.
say.
We don't know.
And I'm not really sure that negative entity is one that's really there, like
All
on a
the
normal
time.
basis. I think it just kind of showed up.
And it's possible. Like, they're transient, right?
Well,
yeah.
this is my take that I got on it was that it always stays there,
Mhm.
but it hides.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't come out very often.
Right. And it just finds a good opportunity when it's ready and will show up.
So we were the lucky ones?
We were the lucky
Or
ones.
unlucky? I don't know how you want to put that one.
I would say lucky in a sense that we
Felt,
picked up on
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
but not saying that I'm right by any stretch, but that's what it felt like. It
Yeah.
felt like it's like it was coming out of something. And it
Well,
was-
and like they say, your best tool is
Yourself.
Yourself.
yeah.
No,
So
absolutely.
You can, trust those instincts.
Yep. Take it for what it's worth, I guess.
That's right.
Yep.
All right. So then the next month we went over to, well, no, it was the same month,
No, I think it was the next month.
to Fort Douglas.
Yeah,
No.
'cause-
So that was in September?
It had to have been September because there's no way we would have investigated 3 days later when we on a Monday
Oh,
yeah.
that's true.
I
because
guess I
Fear
have it
Factory
written
was
down
on a
wrong.
weekend.
I bet it was, yeah,
Yeah.
So it most likely was September,
September 16th.
Yep.
So we went to Fort Douglas.
which I think will always have a special place, at least in my heart, for Utah Paranormal because
Me too.
that's the first place we ever investigated.
It is.
Me too.
Yeah.
Just all separately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back when we didn't know each other. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was all of our first place. Yeah.
That was back before I was a paranormal investigator. Very beginning of just checking everything out.
That's kind of what we did too. It was the Haunted 101 that we went to.
Yeah, from another group. And
Yeah.
just really, we had already been on our first real investigation by then, but
Well, right. But as far as like our little team that we started,
yeah, it was our first one there.
it was our first one.
But it was like, we kind of knew what we were doing, but we didn't know where to go in Utah. And so
Yeah.
we're like, where can we go? What can we do?
So
Yeah.
we just started going to the public ones that
Yep.
other groups were putting on.
And that was the group that I was in.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
And,
And-
the 101 started. I was a little bit late. I can't remember why. I mean, that was forever ago. And everyone was like, you weren't there? I'm like, I totally was there.
Yeah.
I just came a little bit late because generally when you start a public investigation, you kind of have a rundown of like
Mhm.
rules and what to do and not to do. And I came in during that part.
That's probably why.
So you missed the lecture part.
No, I came in during the lecture. part.
Oh, yeah, because like that one started with kind of like types of hauntings, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
there were
some EVPs.
there were some EVPs.
that
Some
were
of it was really good. Some of it was a little dry.
Yeah, it was informative.
Yeah,
So
really, what I wanted to get into was investigating.
Right? That's what everybody does.
Yeah.
So we went down into
the poker room.
the poker room. Yep. And they had just gotten tons of shipments of
Stuff.
donations that they had to get through. So there was a lot of stuff there. So we couldn't go everywhere we wanted to. The poker room was fun. We got to sit down. And so we went down there. We had an EVP session. And it seems like we got some EVPs down there that we didn't hear while we were there.
We did. It was kind of like, it was in reference to where they were standing.
Yes, because I was like, there's somebody down the hall that's not coming in.
Yeah, they're right at the doorway,
Yeah.
just outside of the doorway.
And the camera that was right next to the doorway picked up a voice that said, "We're here."
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're here.
Talk to us.
But that's when we ran into the bigot, was in the poker room the first time.
Was that the first time?
That was the first time we were down there. Because remember, we brought out dowsing rods.
Yeah.
And they're like, they're not working. They're not working.
Yeah.
They didn't.
We all
You didn't
were-
like women. Yeah.
And it was until they got handed to me.
Yep.
And then once I had a hold on, then the guy started talking. He
did not like women.
did not like women.
And Lisa and I are like, well, what's up? Too bad.
Yeah.
We ain't
Well,
going nowhere.
It got a little contentious at that point in
A
time.
little bit.
But it's also, the sign of the times. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it was then.
Yeah.
In the poker room, legit was a poker room in it where men were the only ones allowed unless
You
you
were a
were a
prostitute.
prostitute and, you did your thing.
Do your thing. Get out.
But other than that, like, girls weren't allowed. So, I mean, it makes absolute sense.
Oh,
It-
why
yeah.
it was
makes
the way
total
it was.
sense.
But he totally didn't like the fact that we're like, in this day and age, it's very different and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, and yeah. But like I said, it's a sign of the times. I mean, we didn't get in time of when he died, but
No.
I was guessing probably the late 1800s, like 1870, 1880, 1890, somewhere in there, before 1900.
Yeah.
Which is about how old that room dates.
Yeah, it's quite old.
Yeah.
Then we went upstairs. We tried to investigate in the museum, like the main part of the museum.
Wasn't that?
And it was,
Didn't we go to the library?
We went to the
next?
library first. Then we went to the main part of the museum.
Yeah, and then we went to the museum,
yeah.
and then we went back down.
Yep.
Poker room.
The library was fun.
Yeah. and
Oh, man. We got so many knocks.
we did.
I have never in my life, in anywhere that I've ever gone, heard so many stinking knocks. And it was
There's a
all
lot.
relative to what we were talking about, too. When we asked for it, it would happen. Want 2 knocks? 2 knocks.
Yep.
Like, how cool was that?
That
was
was
awesome.
neat. The Ovilus was good too, because remember we got Elisa's headphones went haywire, and then we get music, Planet, and
Lisa's like, what does the planet have to do with it? And she looks next to her, and there's a
globe.
yeah,
right there.
and it's like, I mean, sometimes you got to stretch a little bit to make it fit, but her headphones make a musical sound, like a
Yes.
melody,
Yes.
and she's sitting right next to a globe.
And the
Yeah.
globe was not small, mind you.
No,
This
it's a big
globe
globe.
was huge. It was bigger than my head. I mean, it was huge.
It's one of those big library globes that
Yeah.
you can walk around and.
So I felt like that one wasn't a coincidence because it happened right as that did. So that was pretty cool.
It was on cue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
almost.
was.
Something happened when we switched rooms. So, like, because I was in the library for a while where you guys were. Now, let's give you guys like a visual of what this looks like. So, you walk into a room, there is a second room off of that one. Okay. In that first room you walk into, there are guns and bullets around this room. Okay.
Around a table,
Yes.
essentially.
There's this round table, and around this round table on all of the walls, it's a smaller room, are all of these old guns, right? And to showcase them. And then in the room that's next to it, there's no actual door, it's just a doorway.
Yep.
And you walk through it, and that's like a tiny little library.
So you have a library, the tiny little library where you can get your books, and then the next room over would be the reading room.
Right. I had been in there for a while, into the library, actual library, just sitting down. And then I switched with Josh.
Yep.
Now, what happened when we switched?
Well, when you came, so the funny part is when you came out, so the Ovilus is hawking up a storm.
Yeah.
Whether it's all relative or not, didn't matter, right? It was just going off. And then Elisa comes and sits down at the table with us. And she was there for, 5-10 minutes. Wasn't super long, but the Ovilus went dead.
Not one word.
It went completely quiet.
Nothing.
And then when I got up and I went into the library,
Mm-hmm.
it started talking again.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was like, oh, no, that's one too many.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start talking again. It's like, that's strange.
Yeah. Well, we also got a female.
We did. We picked
EVP.
up a female EVP that said my last name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just yours, though, not Jamie's.
Just mine, not
Just
Jamie's.
yours.
Not that I have the same
No,
last name
but
or anything.
In a way though, I felt like it's so Jamie will call me Raymond on occasion.
All the time, actually.
I actually do it quite
Quite a bit.
often.
All the time.
And-
I remember one time I was like, why do you always call him Raven? Isn't that your last name? Like, yeah.
And I got called that a lot in high school too.
hmm
And so,
Well, I'm probably in the military as well.
well, that's because everyone's a last name in the military.
I know.
Let's face it.
Where do you think I started calling you Raymond? I would
Oh,
hear,
that's right.
everybody say Raymond, and I didn't start doing it until actually the last year or two here. So,
Oh,
but for whatever reason, it just come out one day, and I've just done it ever since.
It hasn't stopped.
Nope.
But yeah, so I get up and it's like Raymond, and it's like an elderly female
Mhm.
voice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
and I think she absolutely was just talking to you.
I got that feeling too.
That's the impression when you listen to the EVP and the feeling in the moment. It's like when you listen to it,
Yeah.
it's like it very much sounds like she's addressing him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was neat.
It was pretty awesome. So from there,
From there, we went to the main.
we went to the main building
Yes.
museum.
Yes. It was more open, high ceilings, but
Echoey.
oh, bad.
Loud popping ceilings.
The popping did not stop.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was loud. Annoying, really.
It was annoying. I got up and left and went to the other room to try to get anything, and I got nothing.
Yeah. She had to take off her squeaky shoes first.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Every step. If the popping wasn't annoying, that was.
Yeah. But yeah, we didn't get much there.
No.
Not that time.
No, but then we went back to the poker room. It was like we wanted to bookcase the investigation with the poker room.
hmm
Because we went back to the poker room and then finished with an Estes method.
Yes.
And that was a blast. We also got told to eat an apple again.
We did.
Yeah, I remember. So Elisa's wearing the headphones and she hears it through the headphones. And of course, Josh and I don't hear it. And she's like, oh, no way. She takes off her headphones. She's laughing. And yeah, she says, it said to eat an apple.
And we're just like,
We all busted up.
it's
Yeah.
becoming a spirit inside joke.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. It was funny.
Because honestly, I'd never even heard that before. Because the first time we heard it, we had to like look it up.
Yeah.
It was like, what is this phrase from?
And I still haven't found it.
Nope.
Although the only thing I can find is eating an apple is good for you. It's full of vitamin C.
Well, and so then I asked after she said that, and we kind of got back to doing it, the Estes method again. I had said, is that like an insult? Like, because the only thing I can think of is growing up, like when the horses pooed whatever on the road, like in the parades, we used to call them road apples, is what we call them. And so it's like, are you telling me to go eat crap?
Go eat poo.
Yeah, go eat poo. I mean, because when we heard it at Floyd for the first time, go eat an apple, it was meant as an insult.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
There was no denying that. So when we hear it again at Fort Douglas months later, totally different location.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I don't think it was said in the same
It
way.
wasn't. It was.
It said, eat an apple.
It was very casual.
Yeah, it was casual. So now I'm really confused.
Right?
And that's the third time we've heard it. So
Yeah.
at the third locations.
You got to wonder, though, too, like, was it even meant for us? Was it a conversation between two spirits? One spirit could be like, dude, I'm not feeling so good. And the other one's like, dude, just eat an apple.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Because in the thick of things,
I can't remember the context in which it came out.
We
The
were
first
talking
time?
No, the second time. I'm talking about the second time when we're in the poker room.
That was the
that
third
was the
time.
third time.
Or third time.
Did we cover the second time?
I don't know. I don't
I don't
remember
think
where
so.
it happened.
Yeah, I don't either.
I just know this is the third time.
I remember the first time and the third time. But
So there was the second time. We
There
just
was
don't
second
know
time.
where.
We just can't remember.
the thing is, though, weren't we talking about like foods? Like I said, what do you miss, or what
Oh
was your
yes,
favorite?
because there was like mashed potatoes or something.
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
I like that. It said oatmeal. I like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was one of them. We talked about the candy bars. What else did we talk about during that Estes session?
Freak. I don't know.
I don't remember, but I do remember they got dirty. They got foul mouthed.
They started to.
Because Elisa's like, I ain't saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and she didn't need to because we knew where it was going.
And we knew where we were, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thinking about back in the day, you play poker down there. There's gambling, I'm sure there's cussing.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of customers.
Ladies of the night, all those things. Drinking.
Yeah, I mean.
You're going to hear that foul language and
Oh, yeah.
comments come out.
It's not surprising.
No.
Well, and literally, guys, it is a small room.
It
is
is.
not a big room.
10 by 10 at most.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
most.
Yeah. Well, and it sounded like something tapped on the microphone in there, didn't it?
It did. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like.
Just like it came right up and tapped right. And the camera was clear across the room for many of us.
Yeah. What a lot of it felt like is it just wanted to be where we were, but not in the
Mhm.
same room. So it's like, you guys stay on that side of the room. We'll stay on this side of the room.
Yeah.
And then we'll chat.
Yep.
So,
And that's kind of where our night ended. So
Yeah.
so where did we go after that? What investigation did we do after that?
So after that, we actually held 2 public investigations.
we did
At Benson Gristmill.
Well, first one was at Petite Neat.
Oh, Patini.
our first one.
Got out.
You wish.
Yeah, so our first public investigation was in October, and that was at Petite Neat in Payson.
And that one was a fun one. And
That was really fun.
what I think what made that one really fun was
Everybody was new.
Yeah. We had a group of kids, and I'm sure they were over the age of 18.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But I mean, they're kids to us since they're like half our age.
I know that sucks, doesn't it?
Where's time go?
Yeah. I mean, they're almost the age of our kid. If you want to really get into that thought process.
Okay, be quiet.
And done.
And
And we're done.
But it was fun because they had never been on an investigation before.
They hadn't, and they were a fun group.
And what we really appreciated was how respectful they were.
They were very
Yeah.
respectful.
And it was like it's kind of rolling dice when people come in for a public on how they're going to treat the area, treat the situations, if they're going to bring things they shouldn't, or
follow the rules.
or like entice the evil spirits to fight with them, or whatever, to try to get a reaction. Like, you don't know what you're getting. But that group was really such a good first group.
They were.
Yeah.
They were great. Couldn't ask for better, really.
No.
No.
No, and they all had a great time.
Yeah.
So
They
if
were-
you're
they were
listening,
fun.
we want to do it again. That was really good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then we went and did Benson Grist Mill, which was our second public of the month, which was
Yeah.
our big Halloween event. We did it on the
Yes.
29th of October.
And can we
We
tell you
did.
how freakishly cold that was?
It was. It was very cold, but it was still fun.
It was fun.
It was a
just
lot of fun.
Very
it was,
cold.
we had a good group of people there.
All experienced.
Yeah, which was neat.
And we heard a lot of good things. Like, a lot of people really enjoyed it. They're like, oh,
Mhm.
we've never been to one like this.
Yeah, they came up, made it a point to tell us. And so that was really encouraging.
Yeah. And the one thing that we did on both of these investigations, and which we will continue to do as we hold public investigations, but we basically do demos. So the whole rest of the night is go have fun. Go
Yeah.
investigate, go have a
Mhm.
good time. And then throughout the night, we'll hold demos.
In different locations.
In different locations,
Yeah.
whether it's dowsing rods, portal, Estes method. And then you're free to come and go as you want. If you want to come and hang out while we do a demo, then great, cool. If not, you can go out and continue to investigate. And I think they really appreciated that. But I tell you what, the Estes method we did in the barn was almost on par with Jamie's Estes method in the museum at Camp Floyd.
Sounds like it was fun.
It
I'm sorry, I
was-
missed it. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is, I don't really know what's going on because I'm the one just listening to the
Right.
and hearing the things that are coming out. So I don't really know the conversations that were had.
Yeah, we'll have to switch
I feel like I
that
missed
Yeah.
out too, even though I'm in it. But I just feel like
We'll switch it up
I
this year.
I have never had a spirit call me an idiot.
you haven't.
Well,
No.
you said it was a female.
I'm surprised,
And it was a female.
I'm just kidding.
Right?
I am shocked.
I mean, the people around this table have maybe called me an idiot on more than one occasion.
We love each other. We all love each other.
Speak for yourself. Just kidding.
Thought I was.
No, we do. It's great.
But yeah, it was fun. And we're pretty sure it was the grumpy lady from the cabin
That
next door that
cabin.
came over. And yeah, she was not nice.
She probably wanted y'all out of there.
I don't even remember what happened.
So she told us to leave, and I told her, no, we're not going anywhere. then she's like, "You're an idiot." I'm like, "You can call me names all you want, but I'm still not going anywhere."
Yeah.
And she just kept being belligerent. And what's funny is I'm standing up, everybody else is sitting. Elisa's sitting on a lawnmower. And
One of those riding lawnmowers.
and I'm doubled over laughing in the middle, and everyone else is laughing because this lady's she's trying to be belligerent enough to get us to leave.
Yeah.
And it's not working, so she keeps kind of upping it up.
Well, and the more she goes, the more entertaining I'm sure everybody was finding it.
I do remember hearing people laugh because I'd stop because after a while it gets kind of overwhelming in your brain.
Oh, absolutely.
Hearing that all the time. So
Yeah.
you take off your headphones just for a second. And I remember like taking off my headphones, I hear giggling. I'm like, what are you guys giggling about? I'm like, what am I missing?
A lot.
She's like a crotchety old lady. Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe she's like, "Get off my lawnmower."
Right?
That would have been funny.
It
Get off
would
my
have been funny.
lawnmower, Elisa.
Whatever. That's the only comfy spot in that entire barn.
But yeah, that was fun. Oh, speaking of that, when we were doing the Estes method at Fort Douglas in the poker room, we did get the spirit to say Elisa's name.
That's right.
I don't remember.
Yes, because
Yeah.
we asked it to say one of our names, and it said
Oh.
your name. It said Elisa.
I thought that was in
No,
No.
he's right. It was down that
It was down in
room.
that poker room.
Oh.
And the part that was funny is she's like Elisa. And then she stops, pulls off her headphones, is like, "Did you ask it to say my name?"
We asked to say one of our names,
Was-
and it said Elisa.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it said it right.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I do remember that because I remember hearing that it was right.
Mm-hmm.
Because my name, like Lisa, is common, yes, but Elisa is not.
No.
Hearing it said correctly
Mm-hmm.
is I have probably less than 10 times in my entire life have I ever heard somebody say it right the first time, ever.
Yeah.
Even after they meet me, they always
Right.
call me Alicia or
Yep.
Alicia or something. And I'm like,
Mhm.
Or Aleka.
no.
Aleka.
Aleka.
Aleka, whatever.
Well, that didn't help when that's how we got introduced. Oh, this is Aleka.
That's
took-
how it was. You were.
Everybody
introduced us.
struggled so much trying to get my name right.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it was totally fine because that was my nickname. It's not a big deal. But to hear it right, I remember that being like, holy
Kind of throws you for
crap.
a minute.
It does
Yeah.
because I don't hear it. I really don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but Benson was great for our Halloween event. I mean, we had photo ops there. We had one of the terror dogs,
Yep.
life-size movie replica from the movie.
We had like a disco ball light.
Yeah, like it's
Jelly light.
jelly light. And we had some music. We had a creeper skeleton,
We had
And
tons
we-
of candy.
backdrops, yeah, sceneries and all those things. We had candy and chips and cocoa and cider.
Like
Um,
it was lit.
Yep.
It was so cool.
Lavinia's Eden was actually a vendor there, and she
Yep.
sells like stones and
And
crystals.
she did awesome.
She did amazing. Yeah.
In fact, I'm holding one of the stones now from there.
Yeah.
It's a,
And
she's got
what's
some
cool
great
is
stuff.
that her stones aren't the typical stones that you see
No.
at vendors. Hers are like really cool shapes.
Yeah.
I'm holding a UFO.
You're like, how cool
It's
is
neat.
that?
Well, and then I got one in front of me that's this little acorn, and it is like the
It
cutest
is so
thing.
cute. And then I have one that I had a cat that was white growing up, and she had one that was a little white cat, and I'm like, that is mine.
So perfect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has some really great stuff, and she makes wonderful. She does the wire wrapping around stones and
Yeah,
stuff
for
and
jewelry and
she's very talented. It's
and she's
very
very
gorgeous.
sweet. Very, very sweet.
Yes, yeah. So, but yeah, I think a good time was had by everybody. Really,
I think so. I got
Everybody enjoyed
people
it.
had a great time. People commented on the posts on Facebook and
Mhm.
they're like, "Hey, we had a great time. Thanks for having us."
When's the next one?
Yeah. So the answer to that is this October,
Yeah, and what date do we have this on?
Oh, this is going to be so fun.
Friday the 13th.
I am so excited.
Yeah, so we're gonna do it up a bit bigger.
I will probably try to dress up as Jason Voorhees.
Right on.
Because last time we were trying to have it be like a costume contest and we were going to have prizes for people in costumes. So let me tell you, it was freaking darn too cold.
It was, and so a lot of people didn't really
No.
Really, nobody did.
Dress
So
up.
we just didn't do the whole costume prizes or anything like that.
No.
But our saving grace was those those porch heaters.
We
Those
bought
are
2 of
glorious.
those porch propane heaters, and those were nice.
It was.
So we're doing it again this
Yep.
year.
And then where did we finish off the year at?
Salt Air, Lady of the Lake.
The Great Salt Air.
Yep.
Three, because the first 2 don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
So for those of you who don't know, fires came and destroyed.
The first 2.
the
The
first
first
2.
two.
And then the third one, before it even opened, it flooded
It did.
Yep.
and had to be redone.
It's like cursed or something. I mean, it's
I
done
swear.
pretty well so
Something.
far.
Yeah.
But that was the first time we'd ever been there. And honestly, one thing I got to say is thank you again so much to the Great Salt Air for allowing us to investigate on the same day that we contacted them.
Such short notice.
Yeah.
Because we were supposed to go to a different venue and
It
that
fell through.
And so
We scrambled.
and you guys found Saltaire and got a hold of them. And
Steve actually got a hold of them.
oh, was
Yeah,
it?
Steve from,
from
Broken Wings.
Oh, awesome.
Because this was another collab between
Yeah.
their team and our team.
Yeah. And so I guess then they contacted them and
Mhm.
they got us right in.
Yeah.
It was so nice. And the guy that was in charge of it
He was great.
he was awesome.
Super
Yeah.
knowledgeable, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He
Very
was
friendly,
amazing.
really nice guy. Going through it, it's such a big place. Like I had been there before for a concert. There's so many people in there. You just don't realize how massive it is just because there's so many people.
So it feels so full and so cramped.
Oh, so full. And then when you get in there and there's nobody there, you're like, holy man, this place is huge,
It's big.
you know? And
Yeah.
so big and open, but then there's all these little rooms around it. So it was a really cool spot.
Yeah, it was.
It was a fun night of investigating.
We enjoyed it.
Yeah. So we went into a room that had just a bunch of chairs around it. We sat down. We could hear a lot of footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
We heard Jamie and I went and sat down by ourselves for a little bit and we heard, a lot of footsteps at first. And then we went into, what was the room called that we went into?
The one with me?
Which one?
Yeah,
Manson room.
the Manson room. So it was a different color, but Manson wanted it black. So they put black
It's like a fabric covering.
fabric over it, like
Yeah.
almost like a sheet,
Yeah.
It probably was a sheet.
like over all of the walls to
Mhm.
make it all black. And they've never taken them down.
Yeah.
No, they've
Still
left it
like
black.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one, it had a different vibe in it. Wasn't terrible,
No.
but there was a different vibe. And we did get some feelings that somebody was entering the room and leaving the room. I remember feeling that, but nothing like terrible.
No.
No, nothing really, other than that first green room on the tour. That was the only room that actually had a darker, kind of
Feel?
icky feeling to it.
Right.
That was the only one. Everything else felt pretty light, pretty benign.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Well, and then we went upstairs and we went into that big room.
VIP room.
Yeah. Well, it was the room where they had all the mirrors where
Yep.
the people get dressed and change and stuff like that. Sitting in there, we did the portfolio session.
Yes, we did.
And then I heard my name then. So that was the time I was thinking of that what you were talking about. But
Oh yeah, because it came through the portal
it did.
Yeah.
and it came through correct.
Yes.
It did.
And we all heard it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just in my own headphones. We all actually heard it. What else did we hear? We heard some other things that came through. Do you guys remember?
I don't remember.
I don't. I remember though when we were talking and Elise and I had cookies
Yeah.
and I held up a cookie and I said, "Do you want it? Take it." And then I was like, "Oh, well, I know you can't like eat it." I was like, "But can you smell it?" And then what do we see on the video when we
We
looked at
get
it
an
later?
orb coming out of the cookie.
Shooting straight out of the cookie.
How cool is that?
Yeah. And the response on the dowsing rods was yes.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
they could smell it.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was where we asked the question, do you sleep?
Yes.
It's like, do you sleep? No, we don't sleep.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I mean, because you just don't think about what actions they do take. What can they do? What our spirit's able to do.
Yeah. Without a physical body.
Yeah, without a physical body.
Right.
And obviously sleep is one of the things they don't need.
Right.
Well, because we sleep to recharge our bodies,
That's
right?
right.
Right.
So if they don't have a body to recharge,
then why do you need
then
sleep?
why would they
Yeah.
need sleep?
Yeah. But Elisa and I, well, all three of us really went into the woman's bathroom downstairs.
Yes.
And the lights were all on, faucets were running. We didn't really get a whole lot in there, but there was an anomaly that appeared on the video camera after Josh had left to go get a drink of water, and Elisa and I were just kind of in there on our own.
Yeah.
And then I went to the bath. Well, I didn't go to the bathroom. I just went into a stall to go blow my nose.
And it was the same stall that this light anomaly came out of.
Yeah. So it comes out of this stall.
Wasn't it right when I went in that it came out? Or
No,
how did
no.
it work?
So it came out and it went kind of over the top of your head.
Uh-huh.
And then it kind of comes down and then it starts coming down towards me, but the camera's right by me. So it's really coming at the camera, but it changes shape.
Oh.
And all the lights in the bathroom are on.
Are on.
Yeah, I haven't seen
And
this.
oh
so-
yeah, we'll have to show you, but yeah.
And then I went in after, right?
And then you went in after. 'cause-
That's right.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, there are a lot of stalls in there.
There are a ton.
I could have picked any stall.
Yeah, there's
But she picked
there's
that
I
like,
one.
picked that one.
there's 30
That
stalls in that room.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But she picked that
She
particular
picked
one that
the
it came
exact
out of.
same one.
Yeah. She did.
Coincidence?
Maybe.
Hard to say.
I mean, it's a possibility because given where she was standing,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of one of the ones that was closest to her.
Well, actually, the closest one to her was on the left.
Was it?
She was standing right next to a bathroom stall.
Oh, that's right. She was on the other side.
And I
'Cause
don't
there were
remember what
sinks
was
here.
going through my mind during that time to say.
Yeah.
And I think some of the things are like instinct
Mm-hmm.
is like, because I've been dealing with feeling things my entire life, right?
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like I kind of always go towards it without, it might be I went towards it without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Just
Like it's like a
drew me in,
yeah,
you know,
it's like a
without even thinking about it.
reflex.
So,
Just
but I don't know.
automatic.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, but that was definitely fun to finally get into the Great Salt Air. I know that we'd been wanting to do it for a while.
Yeah. And I had never investigated there.
Yeah, neither had we. And so it was neat. We actually did a few new places
At least
in
3.
2022.
Every place was new except for Benson Gristmill and
Douglas.
Fort Douglas. Everything else was new.
Well, Fear Factory.
Oh, Fear Factory. That's true. We've been to Fear Factory before.
Yeah. Quite a few
But
times.
We did some new locations, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Well-
That was really fun.
6 new locations.
Yeah. So we did a total of 9
Yeah.
this year. For us, that's good.
Yeah. For us, it's great.
Yeah. I don't get to get out as often. I've got littles.
But I mean, 9 is not bad spread out over the course of 12 months.
No.
It really isn't. And, you know, one was in Wyoming and so a little bit of travel, but that was a great road trip. And
Oh,
Which-
that was so fun.
Which brings us into the insanity that's going to be 2023.
yeah, so let's move on to that now. So we had a great 2022.
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking most forward to for the upcoming year?
Well, I think checking some more places off our list.
Going somewhere I've never been.
Yep. New venues,
New venues, travel.
Travel.
road trips. Just we have
Road trip.
fun. We have fun on road trips.
We have, and we've only done 2 road trips as a group.
Yeah.
We did one trip to Old Montana,
Yep.
and then last year's trip to Wyoming.
Yeah. Wyoming was so much fun.
And what do we got planned for this year? 5.
4 or 5.
4 or 5 trips.
And
Yeah.
one in a month.
One next month.
I'm
One-
so excited.
One next month to start off the season. I think,
And it's a big one.
It's
It's
a
a
big
big one. Yeah.
but I mean, if it's the only place we get to investigate, I'd still be happy. But it's not
I
the
mean,
Speak for yourself. I wouldn't.
I-
I want to keep going.
yeah. I'm glad we're doing this one. This is a big one. I think this is one that's on all of our lists.
Yep, it is.
So,
well, we've all said as much.
yeah. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too.
Can we give a hint?
We have a podcast episode about it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We have
Yep.
covered this before.
Yes, there.
Take your guesses, guys.
Yeah.
Jersey Devil.
No.
No.
But I mean, honestly, you can. We could put up a post saying any guesses as to our first investigation location. This is a new one that we haven't done before, but that we've done a podcast on. Let's see if people can guess it.
We got to be careful because I don't remember all of our episodes. It might be a very short list.
It may be. I don't know, but
It's Xochimilco,
A Pacha?
Island of the
What?
Dolls.
no, it's not. But Yeah.
Hey, you guys are shutting down our list, man. They're going to figure it out.
I know, right? Stop narrowing it down.
Sorry.
Stop it. Stop
we
it.
are going to Xochimilco.
I wish. I mean, no, I don't
No.
actually, because those spiders, man,
Mm-mm.
that ain't for me.
Imagine walking through the night,
Nope.
right into a web. Got
I
like
already-
6 of them crawling on your face.
I already have a fear of spiders. I don't need to see more that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
You know?
Could you imagine if you had a fear of spiders and dolls? It'd be your hell.
Well, what the heck would you even be going there for? That's literally all there
To
is.
die. To die is why they would be going.
Why would you want to die in such a horrific way?
I don't know.
So, but yeah, no, I think just the new venues, road trips. I just think it's going to be a blast, guys. And I think we're going to kind of put out some more content. I think that's something else we're going to do this year.
That is definitely the plan.
Yeah, we'll see what time allows.
Yeah.
There's just never seems to be enough hours in the day for everything.
No.
But we're going to try our darndest to put out some more content.
If I didn't have a 9 to 5, it'd be a lot easier. I'm just going to quit.
If I didn't live an hour away,
Right.
it would be easier.
Well, then you need to move over here.
You guys need to move to me.
I find it really hilarious that she's like, you need to move closer, too far away. It's an hour. But when we go on road trip, she's like, how long is it? And we're like, oh, 6 hours. Oh, that ain't nothing. It's like,
Well, I do make
but an
this
hour-
drive every other weekend for the most part.
she does. She really
And I
does.
don't complain.
Wait, you said you were only on 6 podcast episodes, so that was like once a month.
Hey, shush, okay?
Ooh, calling you out.
Well, how many times did you make it up to my house?
A handful.
5 times.
No.
Yeah.
5?
Yeah.
Nails, dropping off yummy food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had some struggles last year.
Going up before we came to your place before we went to Fort Douglas.
Game night.
Game
It's
night.
true. Okay, you have.
And we didn't get home till 4:00 in the morning.
It's true, but that was dang fun.
That was so much fun.
I was already like, all right, I'm ready for day 2. Are you guys awake yet? Let's play.
Well, and funny, by the time we got home, I was wired.
You were the one wanting to go.
Oh, I did and I didn't. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's kind of that line.
Well, we
Yeah.
did so in context, we did a New Year's party together at my house
Mm-hmm.
and stayed up super late playing games. So it was really fun.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun. Good food.
Good
fun
friends.
Games, good friends.
What more can you ask for?
You
honestly?
can't. It was a good time.
So, what was your favorite episode to do?
Mine was the Stanley Hotel
And is that just because it's the Stanley Hotel?
because I know the most about it. I think it was a story that resonates with me more because something I grew up with, right? And I loved reading Stephen King books. And I don't know, just how how the story came about, I
Yeah.
was very fascinated with. So for me, that one was a good one. Or even though I didn't participate in like the Ted Bundy one, did I participate in that one?
No.
No.
I don't think I did.
Uh-uh.
And I liked that one, but I don't know. I really liked that one just because of how the whole story happened.
It's a crazy story.
It is a crazy story, but it's so cool. That one was my favorite. Jamie, what was yours?
It's I don't know. I mean, really, how do you choose?
It's hard.
It's kind of tough to choose.
It's like having 26 children a year,
Oh dang, be worn out.
right?
I mean, I agree with Elisa on the Stanley Hotel. It's a gorgeous building for one.
Yeah.
I think to see it in person would be amazing, honestly. And the stories of the spirits that haunt it is actually fascinating as well. I do remember as we were doing the Stanley Hotel and we're kind of talking about the hauntings and the history and stuff, it stands out to me because as we're going through all of this, you get like this visual in your mind
Yeah.
and it really brings it to life.
Yeah.
And I think the more you know, the more excited you get about wanting to go there.
Yeah.
Like, because there's so many places that we talk about, like the Paris catacombs.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't part of that one, again, it makes you want to go visit. It makes
Yeah.
you want to go see, because when you don't know information about it, you don't care as much.
Right.
But when you dive into it and you learn all the nitty gritties, oh man, it makes you really want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's true. Like at first you're like, that'd be kind of cool to see. And then you get into the details. You're like, oh my gosh, I really want to go there.
And I want to stay here, and I want to stay here, and I want to stay here. And yeah.
I want to touch this. I want to lick that. And
Okay, edit.
That's going a bit far, but
okay, that's fair.
you're on your own there. Elise and I will go investigate. You can stay behind, lick the walls or whatever.
Whatever it is your little heart desires.
Whatever works for you.
Gonna lick the walls in the ossuary.
But just make sure that we're way across somewhere else. I don't want to be anywhere near you.
And this is how Josh gets banned from the catacombs in Paris.
Licking skull heads. Blech.
What's wrong with you, man?
Imagine the spiders in those.
Ah. I think for me, honestly, I think one of my favorite episodes was the one we did with Cynthia Sear. The
Yes.
true hauntings and scary stories.
Yes. She, it was cool stories.
It's so cool. The house she grew up in, the story from that house it's something straight out of a book, a movie, a freak show. I mean, it's nuts.
It is something that I wish we could have on the podcast more often. If we could get someone in for every podcast, even to hear a cool ghost story, I'm in, Like if you guys, any of you listeners have stories that you want to tell it to us. We'll even read it on the podcast.
Absolutely.
No,
Like
100%.
I mean, it is so cool to hear other people's stories and how they grew up or what they experienced. That is like what grabs people's attention. It's fascinating.
What do we do around at camp or just with friends hanging around a campfire?
Tell ghost stories.
Tell ghost stories.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what my kids did the other night during Christmas break. They're like, Mom, can we all sleep in the same room and tell ghost stories?
Oh, that's
I'm
awesome.
like, heck yeah, man.
I love it.
So I went in there on their door and I just started going like on their door and it freaked them out and like, oh, it's so awesome.
Or go to the electrical box and flip off the lights off and on.
Yeah.
Mess with them.
Exactly. But it's those things, right? I think there's this strange connection that people get when you tell ghost stories with each other.
I think so. I could see that.
Well, and it's like when you go ghost hunting, people think that like crazy crap happens all the time. It really, really doesn't. It's very rare for like the crazy stuff to happen. So it's very far and few in between. So when it does happen, it's like ooh and ah, right? But then you have the people who experience it during their life and you're like, what? You heard this all the time? Or like you saw this person in your room? Like, and so it's just fascinating for people who have experienced this before. It is like...
It really pulls you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does.
Well, and a lot of times people get that one story, right?
Right.
I got one ghost story. And then, but if you got 12 people around the campfire, now you get 12 stories.
Yeah.
So it's just that fascination. And everyone's got something. Most everybody that I've ever talked to has something that's happened to them that's paranormal.
Some experience that they can't explain.
Yep.
Yeah. So I very real. I really want to hear, especially if you live in a different country, live in a different state, was that me? Who was that?
My throat.
Oh, I was like, it sounded like it came from me, but I don't know.
I'm like, I know it's not me. I didn't feel it.
I didn't feel it, but because you have different cultures, you have like Louisiana, New Orleans, they have a different culture. We're in the same country, but it's a completely different culture.
It's you got a lot of voodoo culture down there.
Yeah. So I'm saying if you live in these different places, I highly, highly want you to reach out to us and just email us a story of what has happened to you and had an experience, if you've had one or not. If you've had an experience, tell us your story. We want to hear. We will share it.
And if
I don't know if we have an email.
We do.
Okay.
So if you want to email, you can email to Josh r.raymond, and that's RAYMOND, at paranormalhope.com.
Right. Or you can hit us up on Messenger as
Or you
well.
can hit us up
Yep.
on Facebook on Messenger.
Yes.
Or on Twitter or Instagram. You can find us all over the place.
And we'll go over that at the end, and so you'll be able to find us. But
Yep.
Yep.
seriously, I really want to hear your stories.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I do too, because it's always so much fun.
It'd be an interesting episode to get a collection of stories and just
Well, and I think it's
Go through
cool
them.
when you hear your own story being told by somebody else, and you know that hundreds of people are listening.
yeah.
I mean, really, we want to say thousands or millions, but
We're not there.
we're getting there, though. We're getting there.
We're making good strides.
We sure are.
So, it's cool. And spread it around, and that you can be like, hey, I'm going to be on this podcast. You
Gotta
should
listen.
listen.
Yeah.
Story. Yep.
Well, and that, when we did the Skinwalker episode, we had our friend write in her family story of
Yeah.
coming in contact with Skinwalkers.
Well, and my brother-in-law, he
And-
went to Skinwalker and we
That's
shared his
right.
Yeah.
experience.
That's right.
And so you get these things that people have had happen to them, and it's just crazy and creepy.
Okay, because think about it, listeners. Like when we tell a story, a specific story, what's more exciting to listen to? The event that happened or the wish-wash of the story, that we don't know a ton about? You really want to dive into
The experiences.
the nitty-gritty of the
Yeah.
story, not just this person went into this room and this
Mhm.
happened. You want to hear this person walked in there, their name is this, and they went and were sitting down, and this is the questions they asked, or this is what happened. Like you
More in
want
depth.
details.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It creates a picture.
yeah.
So,
It tells a story. Yeah, for sure.
for sure.
But we also want to thank everybody out there in the local paranormal community, as well as the people that have been guests on our podcast,
Yeah.
and that have had us on theirs as well.
Absolutely. You got Pollyanna, Cynthia,
Mhm.
V,
Yeah.
Hidden in the Shadows,
Yeah.
Paul Welch,
Demolish Salt Lake.
Demolish
that was
Salt
Wendy.
Lake.
Yeah. So we've had Broken
and
Wings
Broken Wings
members on
twice.
twice. Yeah.
So
So and everybody in between. So we want to just send out big thank yous, and we hope to do more collabs and have more local paranormal groups on the podcast this year. Kind of open that up a little bit more.
absolutely. And look, if you're a member of a paranormal investigation team, hit us up. If you want to come on the show and come talk with us, hit us up. Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you to all the listeners.
100%.
Big thank you to all the listeners.
Thank you. We've had such a blast, and
Yeah.
each year just gets a little bit better. And this last year, it has been awesome. We have loved every moment, and we really appreciate you chiming in and listening to us jabber away and talk about the things we're interested in. And if there's anything that you guys want us to talk about, reach out to us too and let us know if there's a subject that you want us to cover, and we'll do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We couldn't do it without our listeners.
No.
Nope, we couldn't do it.
Could not.
It just wouldn't be fun.
No.
wouldn't.
It would be for
It
us, but it wouldn't
absolutely-
be it wouldn't be as fun.
No, absolutely
No.
not.
And honestly, like I love reading the reviews we get from listeners. So please do, give us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you like about us.
Yeah.
What is it that you enjoy?
What do you want to see more of?
Exactly.
Hear more of.
Hear
I
more
shouldn't
of.
say see. That doesn't make much sense for a
Sure
podcast.
doesn't. Especially when it's audio only.
Yeah.
But absolutely. Just, reach out to us, let us know. And where can they find us?
Well, you can find us on Facebook at Cold Spot Paranormal Research, as well as Paranormal Peeps Podcast.
And on Instagram at coldspot_paranormal_research. And on Twitter at CPR Paranormal. And as always, stay ghosty, my peeps.
Coming out of my butt.
I was going to say gurgling up my throat. I hope those aren't the same bubbles.
Let it rip.
You don't want me to do that. I mean, I'm ready.
Oh, She's got one on deck.
As Lisa stands up and points her
As I
butt at the
lift-
microphone.
lift-
Another
cheek.
one for the blooper reel. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
almost
you
too
better-
low.
Eat some of these, my friend.
Eat a
Well,
hippo.
see, I
Eat
ate
a happo. Eat a
Eat a-
Eat a happy
happo.
hippo.
We're gonna have those happos.
Eat your happo. Thank you for listening to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. You can find us on social media at Twitter at CPR Paranormal, on Facebook at Paranormal Peeps Podcast and Cold Spot Paranormal Research. And you can find us on Instagram at coldspot_paranormal_research.